28. Oh, are we on? I didn't get a heads up, so there you go. My bad. We're on. 10-cent beer night. PolymerCityRecords.com. Akron, Ohio. I'm Seth.
I'm Chris.
And we got plenty to talk about after a crazy week of pro football. But we'll get to that later. But first, we have a new champion in Major League Baseball. Last night, Game 6 of the World Series, the Los Angeles Dodgers clinched it after a 3-1 victory against the Tampa Bay Rays. A couple things I took away from it. First of all, it is the first city since 1988 to have the NBA championship and the MLB championship. Right. Do you remember the last one? Same city, same teams. Yeah, Lakers and Dodgers in 1988 there.
Oh, it was 88, yeah.
Yeah, Cleveland almost had that privilege in 2016, but the Cleveland Indians were one win away and they couldn't pull it off. Cavaliers did. That was the good news. So we almost became one of the few cities to be able to do that. But it didn't happen. Life moves on. Indians offseason began last night after the Dodgers that clinched it. A couple notes I took mentally is one, you probably didn't watch the game, I'm going to guess.
No, never watched it.
You didn't watch it. I watched. This was actually
I seen a little bit, of today, this morning. Now, Tampa Bay pulled their pitcher. Kind of a little stink about that, I guess. And
yeah, that
was a big move.
That was a big deal. Snell, one of the better pitchers in the league, pitching well, mind you. I think he only gave up the tying run, which was 1-1 at the time. Got pulled by Kevin Cash, the manager, who was hired from the Cleveland Indians, who was their bullpen coach. One of the younger managers in the league, so this was a big deal that they got to this level, they got to this game, and then to end the way they did has a lot of fans kind of crummy feeling. Could they still have won? I don't know. Again, Tampa Bay deserved to be their very good team, but Dodgers were good all around the map, pitching, hitting, fielding, everything. So there was that. The other one I noticed was last night closing the game was Urias, the lefty starter. Okay? And what I liked about that was it was win at all costs kind of attitude. Recently was the anniversary of when the Indians blew it against the Marlins in 97. And the main reason they blew it was Jose Mesa, who was struggling at that time, could not get anything right. They put him in that Game 7. That ultimately decided their fate. Okay? Right. You look at the Dodgers this one. Jensen, who is a good closer. He's a very hard-throwing pitcher. He has a blunder in Game 4 where he gives up the tie and then the lead, which ended up being a win for the Rays. But he made a mental error that they teach in Little League where the ball was thrown at home and he didn't back it up. He was still near the mound.
Right.
And so the ball went past him, the Rays scored and won. So, okay, he's out of it. You're in a chance to clinch this game. Manager Dave Roberts makes the move and says, I'm not putting my closer in. I'm putting a guy that's going to come in here who's fresh, who's ready to go, and can get me the outs to win this thing, okay? That's the end. I mean, another example is you look back in 2001. We're going way back. Doesn't feel that way, but it's that long ago. When the Diamondbacks beat the Yankees, who they put in to close the game? Randy Johnson, because they knew the Yankees weren't going to hit. And it's a little risky because starters aren't used to that.
Right.
But if you got a really dominant pitcher, they're going to be ready for anything in that situation. And that just goes to show, I want to see that happen to teams that if they don't have to follow the rules as far as who they put out there. Just put somebody out there to close it out. Had the Indians fall that 97, we would have had a championship by then, I believe. But it is what it is. I mean, that was a long time ago. But I was kind of impressed by seeing that. the other thing I was impressed by is, and you know this, watching all different kinds of sports, when a player in Major League Baseball gets, now it's the $300 million contract, it's the big one. In football, it's the 100-some million, sometimes a little over that. And basketball, it could get up to $200 million, depending who it is.
Right.
Okay, a lot of them, not all of them, but most of them, the stats go down after they get that contract. You don't get the production you were hoping to get. You're paying all this big money, and you're not seeing what you paid for. Okay, Dodgers was a different story last night. They had two $300 million players, contract-wise, not in a year. Clayton Kershaw, Mookie Betts, they both showed up and had a heck of a series.
Right.
They were two of the big reasons why they won it all. So it goes to show if you invest your money wisely, the results can happen. And again, it's relevant to our teams in the local area because the offseason has started, and the big question in Cleveland is, do they give Francisco Lindor that big contract? Right now, they cannot afford it. The whole COVID thing has really screwed that up for them and a lot of teams. I know some teams probably could somewhere afford it, but the Indians cannot. And now it's going to be interesting how they handle Lindor. We love him, but if they can't afford it, they're not going to take something. They're going to get something out of him. You know what I mean? For him, whatever you want to word it. But at the same time, if you do keep those third players, look at what happened last night. The only bad news I could take from last night was the Justin Turner situation. I don't know if you're aware of that. He gets pulled out of the game, third baseman for the Dodgers, because they just received news that his COVID test tested positive. He needs to leave the game. He left the game, but when they won it all, he came back. And part of me says his teammates probably didn't care. I mean, again, we're talking about millionaires with health plans that we don't have, whatnot. And this is a very, very special. This is a moment he's dreamed of since he picked up a bat at 5 years old or whatever it was. I don't know his whole story, but we can assume. And you don't want to tell him, nope.
Right.
You can't celebrate with him. You know what I mean? And he worked it just as hard too. So we run in that situation. My guess is ownership's going to be like, look, we'll pay the fine, leave him alone, and the rest is going to be history. But had it been in a crowd full of fans or whatever, that would have been one thing. With their teammates, they're always around each other. Again, it's a little bit different. And he was probably in the whole alcohol, but I think they had that last night.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know they were talking about getting rid of it, so I didn't know if they did it. Once I saw who won, I turned it off.
I know Lakers did it.
Lakers did it, yeah.
Lakers did it.
Yeah, it's just disappointing here. And then this has got to be the first championship where they didn't win in the home or the away.
Right.
They won in Texas down there. So it's all kinds of weird things happen, but LA is very happy. They got 2 championships to celebrate after all this. So congratulations, Los Angeles. But for the first time ever, we are going to see the Major League Baseball offseason, the NBA offseason, the NFL trade deadline, and I don't really follow hockey, honestly, but the NHL offseason's right there, too. We're going to have a lot to talk about in the next couple weeks, a lot of shakeups, and it's going to start with trade deadline in a couple weeks. It's going to start with the NBA draft in about a week or two after that, and then I think Major League Baseball is going to probably wait till closer to December, but it's all so close together for the first time ever that it's kind of weird. It's like we have the games and then we don't. And then switching sports here, NBA is in talks about when they're going to start up. Do you think this is a good year to test out the less than 82 game season?
They're talking about 72.
72 right now, yeah.
Why not? I would do it just because how things are going. There's not really a date yet set, so they're talking about Christmas, I think, was the closest.
Maybe the week before. I mean, it's nothing's official.
I would do it. I might as well try it out, because who knows when this is going to carry on to next year,
and
how long.
It will carry you on to a regular schedule again, doing that. That's why I said they should, look at the Major League Baseball thing. They did so many things different. A lot of people weren't sure about, but they're like, look, just for this year. It will make things just easier. So they're like, okay, and then they warmed up to some ideas. Maybe this is just another example here. I know there's been a debate about shortening the NBA season. They think some of it's too long. for people that like to watch the NBA like us, we don't have issue with it. But again, it's becoming a faster. How should I say it? I won't say as it's always been as physical as it is, but it seems like it's wearing and tearing more on their body than it's ever been, you know? And when you're in a situation like, let's say, Klay Thompson of the Warriors, his ACL just... And they're like, how does that happen? Well, you got to understand, 82 times... Not times, but plus, let's see, 60. But at least 20 more games. He's playing from October to June for 5 straight years. Yeah, that's going to happen, you know. And he's one of the toughest players in the league. And that's where now you're not going to see a situation like the Warriors a lot where there's going to be in 5 straight finals. But that became a good question. It's like, okay, some of these players that are really good see a ton more playing time than we ever thought about. Should we, you know?
Look at LeBron.
Like yeah.
He missed that 1 year of 1 year, right, or 2 years of the playoffs.
Just one,
yeah.
Just one, yeah. The one for Toronto.
Look how many consistent seasons he's played,
and how many minutes?
Minutes too.
You know,
and
you looked at just the one game. I forget if it was game 6 or 5 for the finals this year, where Jimmy Butler basically collapsed,
right?
Because he did not miss a minute. And that's just one game, but because of everything he's already played up to this point, that Ward tore on him. So I'm for it too for this year. Try it out, see if it works. I think the only loss that comes to this is technically the owners and then the fans, because that's 5 less games you have at home. But at the same time, where are they going to take those 5 games out? Probably divisional, I'm guessing. If you know, because you got to see the West Coast teams home and away alternated a bit. You know, you see everybody at least once. But so I'm going to guess that there would be less games. Maybe not just divisional, but maybe conference, like less against the 76ers, less against the Atlanta Hawks. In the Cavs case, I should say. I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Another thing, do you think the big stars are going to opt out a month? Like, say, LeBron. Do you think he's going to opt out a month? There's rumors that Danny Green made a report that he thinks LeBron might opt out a month just because not enough time to rest.
Right.
Do you think you could see something like that? I think he was just speaking off his head now, but of course the media took and rolled with it. But
in all fairness, I think every star, I won't even just say star, I'll say even role players on these playoff teams, especially the last 4 that went real deep, they should have a say in such a thing. Because they usually that is that time to train, it's their time to rest, it's time they miss from their families. I mean, they miss their family a lot during this whole process. I'm for it just for their sake, but for the teams like the Cavaliers, like the Chicago Bulls, the Golden State Warriors, even that missed out, I think they should play when everything starts because they had their time. They had their play time to rest the family.
More like the teams that made it to the bubble.
Right.
You can do that,
I think that's fair 1 month, and that's not a lot of games, really. You know what? If you really think about it, maybe, I won't even say 20. The way the NBA space now, they might group it a little bit more together because they have less time. Because where the All-Star game normally would be, it's not probably going to be. They'll probably bump that back up. Maybe we'll see. It's a cluster, but I think out of fairness, I wouldn't rule it out. They'll probably play the game. Well, the fans are paying for this ticket. That it's like, look, again, this is a rare situation here. You gotta start thinking of yourself and. For the fans, it's you either pay to go or you pay later. You know what I mean? It's like if I'm a fan and my team just won the championship, the Lakers in this case, and I have tickets to go to a game LeBron's not going to play, I'm probably still going to go because this team just won the championship and I haven't seen them in a while.
Right.
You know, forget about it. I'll go. You know, there's other good players on the team. I mean, if LeBron's go, maybe Anthony Davis does, maybe doesn't. You know, it's all for. You know, up for debate, I should say. Again, but also, and I'm not poking fun at LeBron, but it's all serious. He's older too, so maybe that 1 month of rest is going to be a huge factor into going into his game, going into next season. But if I'm somebody too, like let's say I'm Giannis, I don't want to take that month off
Right.
Because you want to blend with this. I don't know what the Bucks are going to do this offseason. They're one of the teams to circle and watch for. But if your team did not live up to par, you might want to show up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's just my opinion there. But if you want to take a month off, whatever. But I think he should have that option. But I'm just saying, if I'm him or if I'm the 76ers, I got a new coach in Doc Rivers. Or if I'm the Lakers with Kawhi Leonard and you got a new coach with Ty Lue. So you did live up to expectations. You got a new coach. It might be good to take a couple games and just play them. You know what I mean?
Here's another thing. Toronto. They're talking about playing in the States because of the travel ban to Canada. So what do you think they could land at in the States?
That's a good question. Maybe closer to their area. Buffalo took in the Blue Jays, so maybe we could bring Buffalo into the conversation. Give some people in upstate New York something to look forward to. Those that cannot make it to New York City or Brooklyn there. They're a thought.
I know Holmes said he wants them in KC, but I don't know if Toronto will go to.
That's a weird. That's a weird place.
Yeah,
and it's technically in the West too. We probably should keep them in the East.
Yeah.
Let's give Cincinnati some love. They got to have a court down there. Maybe University of Cincinnati or Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
You got the Buckeyes there. Will rotate around their schedule a bit. That's an idea. I was thinking Michigan, but I don't know where in Michigan would you put them.
Right. But something to look at,
Exactly.
look at and see what's going to happen to that because, the travel ban and stuff and all that. So
very unlikely, but just because I know the area and I know they have a coliseum to do it, Fort Wayne, Indiana, where the Mad Ants play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and it's big. It's a big. It's not like the Cannon Chargers will have a representative next weekend where it's a great facility, but it's not huge for NBA. You know what I mean? The Coliseum in Fort Wayne is I've seen massive concerts there and everything. They can pack the place if they want to. So that's an idea.
It's good. There's a lot for the commissioner to think about before they start.
Right.
I mean,
Nashville, Tennessee, not Memphis. There's
a lot going on till the season starts. How many fans are going to do? Are they going to do fans?
Right.
There's a lot to juggle around. It's going to be a lot for.
I will say, with Adam Silver at helm, this is going to go the best direction as possible.
Right.
Because he's. I really admire Adam Silver because out of all these commissioners, he does so much around the NBA, makes the NBA look so good, and he just looks out for everything you need to look out for. Obviously, his job is to make the league money, but he thinks beyond that. He's more of I should say he looks out for the players, the people, all the important stuff you think. He's not a politician of the game, I should say. So whatever he decides at the end of the day is going to be the best decisions ability. He's going to talk to everybody before making a decision. If this was Goodell or I'm trying to think of his name. I don't like it. Rob Manfred. I would just roll my eyes at this point and say, what goofy thing is he going to come up with that's going to make absolutely no sense to do it? But with Silver right there, I'm going to say the league's in good hands. They're going to make the best decision as possible, and it's going to positively affect the players and the fans. I thought they handled the whole bubble thing well.
I think it went great.
Yeah,
it went great.
It did.
I even got used to seeing all the fans on the screens and all. At first it was weird, but I got used to it. I thought it went well. It was live sports, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Heard some complaints about it. Oh, they don't like it, but hey, it's live sports. It's NBA basketball.
They had to do it
to
keep the season going. You know what I mean? It was that, or these players played for nothing, and you didn't want that. You didn't want to touch that idea, but. It is what it is. We got the draft to look forward to. Cavs brought in about 5 players, including Obi Toppin from Dayton to get a look at. No point guards. I know there was that rumor they might debate it and whatnot. A couple centers, including Wiseman there, and then all swingmen, and then Obi's like a power forward. That was it, though. There was no guards to look at. And I find that encouraging Because it's not that I'm against them drafting a guard, but they've drafted so many guards, like the right guard. I'll give them credit. I like their like in the past, the Cavaliers have been horrible at drafting, and before anybody jumps and goes, "Oh, but LeBron, but Kyrie," they passed up on Kobe. They passed up on Karl Malone. They passed up on all sorts of talent that could have made them better than what they were. You know what I mean? When they got LeBron, they should have built more of a young core around him from the beginning, and they traded away or used those picks were bad. No, in the past they have not made good picks. Now the past 2 seasons, they've done right.
I've always said this: if from the get-go, if when they drafted LeBron, when they should have started building then around him. And then when later on, when LeBron started asking for these players, they kept on saying no. I believe he still would be here if things would happen right. He would have still been a Cav.
Yeah,
it's my opinion.
It's up for
we could have won a couple of championships.
Right, it's up for debate.
That's my opinion on this whole thing. I mean, I'm not a fan of ownerships, like, what Cavs had or still have, but it is what it is. But I believe if they would have built the team more around LeBron would still have been here.
I think my personal opinion, we're going back to the first LeBron era too, is that Danny Ferry just was not the answer at GM at the time. There was a couple close trades he almost pulled off. Rumors about Paul Gasol, Kevin Garnett, in their prime, mind you, that he almost did, and that he, for either good reason or bad reason, it just didn't work out. And then he gave players bad contracts too. I brought this up I think a couple weeks ago, or it was last week, about when they signed Ira Newble to that big 3-year, at the time, very expensive deal. And I said, why did they do that? This guy's not going to play much starting next year. And I was a young kid. I was like 13, 14, and I could figure that out. And that's exactly what happened. He did not play. He didn't show up. They overpaid, Donnell Marshall was like good for a year, and then that was about it. The guy that stood out that got for cheap was Damon Jones. There was just some bad off season moves. If they had Griffin, then I'm not going to say things were perfect, but things would have been better. Yeah. Again, I think Griffin's biggest blunder with the Cavs. Now he wasn't GM at the time. Chris Grant was, but they talk about again that Anthony Bennett pick.
Yeah.
Griffith was very for Anthony Bennett. Chris Grant was for Ben McLemore. And when that was the farthest, those two were the farthest things from the best pick in that draft. You had Giannis in there. And then again, a lot of people didn't know, but, why not at that time? Right. You had Oladipo sitting there, it was just a bad look for the organization. And they did, in their defense, they did try to trade out that pick. They tried bad, and nobody wanted to touch that pick for a reason. Or they were asking. I wasn't in the war room when that happened, but still, you look at what Griffith's done with the Pelicans, and they're going to be good in the next couple of years. It's all going to depend too if Zion Williamson is going to show up in shape and show up to his potential. But he's got plenty of time. They could have just pulled him aside and said, "This offseason you're going to be working your butt off, and you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and it's going to get done." But it is what it is. We are where we are right now. Kobe Altman's overall done a very fine job in the short time he's been general manager. I don't know. Again, I'm not there in the front office. I don't know how involved right now Dan Gilbert is with his health.
Yeah.
Because he seemed kind of. It's the most quiet I ever heard him since he had his stroke. About not this past summer, the summer before that. So it's been a while. I hope he's doing well. I used to work under Dan Gilbert before, and he looks out for the little people. He really does. But again, there's a difference between businessman Dan Gilbert and Cavaliers owner Dan Gilbert. I mean, there's just a different sense there.
Right.
They are going to look for the best potential pieces because this year it's either going to be another slow year or it's going to be a underrated dark horse year where they make the playoffs, and they have an opportunity there. We won't find out for another couple weeks or so. Yeah. Let's move on and let's talk a little football. We're going to talk about Ohio State. Nebraska hung in there for a while there, played tough, and Ohio State just rolled afterwards. But I think I speak for everybody where it's like, man, isn't it fun to watch Justin Fields play?
Oh yeah, it was great. It was great. I mean, he played a heck of a game. He had one bad pass the whole game.
Yeah.
That's what I was very impressed with, his passing this year compared to last year. I was very impressed with in this game. His passing just spot on. He hooked up with that freshman, that wide receiver, that freshman.
Yeah.
In the end zone there. He hooked him up pretty good. But I got concerned a little bit in that game, especially the beginning. I knew, you get the first game, Big Ten.
Yeah.
That's crazy too. Game of the season playing against a Big Ten team. So no, I got concerned a little bit as the game went on, started easing up. But things I like to hopefully can improve on, which is their defensive line. I know they're young.
And we usually don't talk about that
yeah.
like that. It's usually
they're young.
That defense is the top 3 from the get-go,
Yeah.
but they did look a little shaky there
But
at first.
there's going to be some guys that the guys have been there, but now starting, but they got to step up. I believe when they step up, they'll be a lot tighter. The running game I want to see more of, because I didn't like how much Fields ran the ball. Even though he's good on his feet, but you're going to get in these tight games like this week at Penn State.
Right.
They got decent defense. You're going to start getting these games with these decent defenses. I'm not saying Nebraska's defense wasn't bad, but
no, they were actually impressive.
yeah, you're going to get
overall.
these guys are going to key in on Fields a lot more. These teams, So I didn't like how he was running a lot, but if we have to make him our second running back, that's fine. I'm fine with it.
Right.
But thought Master Teagues did all right. I wish he's a good up north and south running back. He's not good side to side, so he's a hard runner. Thought he did all right, but I'd like to see more. The guy from Oklahoma came in towards the end. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Came in towards the end.
I know who you're
I think he's going to have more reps in. He should be pretty good. So we get more of this running game. I think we'll be better a little bit more. Especially at the gate. When you start to tone with the running game a little bit, then open up the pass. That's my own concern.
I think with
we'll
it,
be all right.
yeah, with it being the first game in Nebraska, being so neck to neck there for a while, Coach Day just opened up the passing game because he knew the passing game's gonna work out. He's not worried about that, but the run game started off slow, the defense started slow. So it was to make sure, let's make sure we lock this one in. You don't want to be like Penn State, who are playing this coming week, who just got upset by Indiana. And you just didn't want that situation there on a promising season. I will say, watching Fields, whether it was run or pass, just watching him as a quarterback in that pocket, just the throws, the accuracy, the vision. If I'm the New York Jets sitting there, I know it's just one game. If I'm the Jets sitting there, I said, Lawrence, if you don't want any part of us, that's fine. We'll take this kid instead. Like, why not? Like, he played so. I mean, Lawrence is not going to be handed the Heisman this year.
Right.
It's just not going to happen. And for the record, I think both Lawrence and Fields could be great NFL quarterbacks. But like how people have the attention's always been on Lawrence as far as college football and quarterbacks go. He did take Clemson to back-to-back championships, won one of them. But Fields looked really, really good. Like you cannot deny how good he looked in there. And of course, you could say I'm playing favoritism, but just look at the film, look at the stats. It says it all.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah,
He had one bad pass the whole game, and that's impressive.
exactly. And the thing people gotta realize too in this Coach Day era at Ohio State is, when we saw Tressel, it was Ohio boys only. We run a system here just to win games. With Urban Meyer, he scouted all over the place, but what he developed that went pro all the time was O-line, defense, maybe they were running back like Ezekiel Elliott, and maybe a couple receivers, but not too many. You had Michael Thomas and whatnot. He rarely had a quarterback that came. I mean, you could throw Tebow out there at Florida, but I mean, he had a short-lived career there. You know what I mean? He never had a star-studded first-round quarterback. And I was hoping Haskins would be that. It's not too late for him. Maybe in Washington it is. He'll get a rep somewhere else, but that would have been his only one, or Meyer. He did not ever get. He got system-ready quarterbacks, not pro-ready.
Right.
With Day, it could be a completely different situation where he's developing more high-profile quarterbacks here at Ohio State down in Columbus. And I'm just Fields just looks so good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's a lot of things in that game. Which the first game of the season playing against a Big Ten team, Nebraska came in. They were ready to go. They came with a game plan, but it lasted so long. But another thing too, I like to see a little more out of the Buckeyes linebackers.
Right.
Side to side, the side on
they
the
lost a
sideline,
lot of linebackers.
They lost a lot, but I think these guys will step up. Just like the D line, they're young, they're going to step up. These guys, they're going to step up. Someone's got to step up.
Right.
So I think once we see a little more of that, I think this defense starts settling down, which they did. They settled down.
They did,
and they played well and they settled down. But I don't know what you think about them targeting calls, though.
I didn't want to bring that up. Thank you. I almost forgot.
That was a lot of it. Now I say it's a football play.
Right.
A lot of these, it's hard to get around the head and all that, and they're making these. They are legit making these football plays.
Right.
But legit is they're getting too close to head, and that's the rules now. So it's tough.
It's
tough to call. I mean,
right.
It's tough.
And I know on the football field, there's a lot of trash talking. There's a lot of grabbing, punching, hitting, and stuff.
Right.
It's football. I highly doubt in most of these scenarios that they're intentionally going for the head.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was just two.
Two, yeah.
I couldn't remember if there's 2 or 3. The first one, I would not have called targeting. I would have just said personal foul, helmet to helmet. You get the yards. Let's move on.
Right.
The second one, I understood, actually. That was the one the broadcasters were on the fence about. I actually looked at that because if you look at the hit, and you look at the result in slow motion, and when that guy's going down, he doesn't know where he's at.
Right.
He was like,
yeah.
It was kind of scary looking, and thankfully he got up, he was fine. But the way his eyes were looking, I went, oh no, he got hit. He got smashed in the head right there. I do think, and we've seen it when we had Zips tickets. I won't forget against Ohio a couple years ago. There was a hit. It was like more shoulder to shoulder. It wasn't that bad, and they called targeting and
that was that Akron play, right?
Yeah, and they disqualified it. And we're looking. We're like, where do you get this? Because the rule is so specific and picky. They had to make that call. Now, I'm not sure if they had to, but they felt the need to. The targeting, I think it needs to be more specific. If it's directly head to head, you know what I mean? And I know it just said helmet to helmet, first down. And there is technically a difference there, but I guess it's got to be a judgment call. But if it's just a good hard hit, you can't call it targeting. You know what I mean? You're softening up the game, and they're not going to soften up. The players will not.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's another thing you said, soften up the game. I don't want to see that happen, but then you got to take safety comes too, online.
Right.
I don't want college football to soften up like NFL has. I think NFL has a lot of new rules.
But NFL's giving a leeway to some hard hits this year, which I'll give them credit for. And we don't want anybody hurt or anything like that. But that's part of the game. And that, like, if a player is not allowed to take a hit or give a hit, then they don't feel themselves. Right. You know what I mean? Because you can imagine, this is only for the defense. No, if I'm a big tight end and I take a couple hits and I plow right through you, I feel like a beast. That's an adrenaline rush right there, and that happens. Unfortunately, they try to calm down, and I understand the head-to-head thing. I really do. There's been families of former stars that fighting that. But there's a line, and if it's not that bad, if everybody's up and fine, ready to go, you don't need a call. You know what I mean? It's
But fortunate for Nebraska, they're gonna have 2 cornerbacks now out for the first half.
The first half there.
But I don't think they're playing this week because of Wisconsin having COVID, I believe. Is that game canceled?
I will have to look it up. I did not know. I know you said the 2 quarterbacks for Wisconsin have been labeled as out because of the whole COVID thing.
And I think I thought I heard more may have. More have got it.
Because that's the problem. In the pros, they can kind of separate them out. In college, they're still partying in the background. Me and you both know that. We were that age. And they're still going out doing their thing, being 20, 21, 19 years old. So they're all up and around each other. So it wouldn't surprise me if it spread a little bit more there, which would be unfortunate, but it's the truth. I'll have to look that up. I didn't see that today.
Right.
But moving on ahead, we got a big one on Halloween. We got 18th ranked Penn State coming in against, what are we, number 2 now?
Yeah. Well, we were 5, but
5,
we moved
yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a top 5
Yeah.
team there. It will be a good one. I know, before I forget, happy birthday to my best friend Rob. He turned 30 today.
Right.
We will be celebrating his birthday on Saturday, bar hopping and in costumes and everything because it's Halloween. So I'll be watching the game in a couple bars there.
Wear your mask.
Yes, most people have masks this time for fun, you know. But no, for my kind of get up, I will have to wear an actual mask. But so no, we're definitely looking forward to that game there. This is Penn State's angry. They lost the game they think they should have won, so they're gonna come right at Ohio State. That's in Ohio State.
No,
right?
it's in Indiana.
Indiana. I couldn't remember. No.
Pennsylvania. It's Pennsylvania. But they got Indiana. On
Indiana beat them. Yeah.
I will take Penn State.
I will take Indiana more seriously this year. After that, I was like, okay,
their quarterback's good.
Yeah,
he's real good. I like the way how he controls that offense. He's real good. He's fast on his feet. He has an arm. You don't want to take Indiana light. That's a big one for Indiana, though.
We took them lightly last week, just talking about it. Maybe we,
Yeah, that's a big one for them. That's a signature win that coach and the college, university needed. That's a big win for them.
That is.
They had all reason to do whatever they did after that game.
Oh, yeah. But for the record, I want everybody to know I take Indiana more seriously than Michigan. So I just want to throw that out there now.
Michigan beat Minnesota, though.
I mean, Minnesota's a rising program. They're not there yet. They have a great coach. The one that was at Central Michigan, there with Corey Davis.
Yeah.
For the Tennessee Titans, and he made a great program there. Minnesota will get there, maybe not this. My prediction was about a couple of seasons in, so not this year, but next year they would be. So it is a good one for Michigan. I will give them that. But wait, Minnesota's turning the corner very soon, and they're going to be, as long as they have that coach there, they're going to be a threat, to circle every season. So they're going to have Penn State. They have a couple high-profile players there, potential first-round picks. I know the running back they've compared to Saquon Barkley, who went to Penn State. It's looking like we're going to have another running back. How do you say it? A more loaded running back class in the next draft or so, if this guy comes out and everything, and with the kid from Clemson too. So it's going to be a good game. I think Ohio State defensively will be more prepared. Hopefully that run game gets going. I know it's a different group, but it's always more of a speed back group. You don't get. I was watching while I was at the gym last night, a mini documentary on the Maurice Claret era. There, you watching him, and he was that good mix. It's fair to say, like, him and Ezekiel Elliott have been the best two, unless I'm forgetting somebody, within the past 15 years or so, more than that, because it's been a while since. It's been about 18 since that. Maurice Claret.
Yeah.
Year.
I remember when he was at Warren Harding. He was a beast in high school. I mean, his calves are just freaking big. You're like, oh my gosh, okay, that young calf's that big. He was a monster in high school.
He was, and it was
it was just unbelievable.
Disappointing to see how his career. And I'm not spitting at the guy, but you had all this talent. You want to get out of the area you were in. You had all the help you could get, and then how it turned out, how it was from a, how should I say it, the story you like to hear to the story you hate to hear. Like there's better words for it, but I can't think of it right now. But it's just, I thought when he came to the NFL, I thought maybe the Broncos, who drafted him in the third round, they had a surprise pick, because I know he didn't play the year before, but he was healthy. He was ready to go, and then this whole thing started, and then there's the thing with the mob, and it was...
it got all crazy.
It was disappointing. And then now looking ahead to Ezekiel Elliott, one of the better ones too. Still a great player, but he's struggling right now. They really need him to carry the load for that team. We'll talk about that a little bit later with the Cowboys and whatnot.
But with the Buckeyes, this game, like I said, defense, see a little more out of the defense, a little more out of that running game. Fields will do his thing. I'm not worried about that. The key I want to see is how they're going to start this week. How are they going to start? So that's the key thing I want to see. how they're going to come out. I know last week they came out kind of shaky. I understand first game, but how they're going to come out this week. We'll be on the road. No fans. That's going to be big. Keep that in mind. That's going to be big there.
That's going to be big.
No
That's
fans.
going for Penn State there.
So,
because we had
key thing I want to know how they're going to come out and just come out and take it to them. Are they going to let them do what Nebraska did? Come down and ride down the field on them? Are they going to come take it right away? That's the key thing I want to see. How they're going to start the game. How they're going to set the tone. That's the key thing I'm
and that is huge too. I mean, we've seen Ohio State games where they've blundered the tone and they bounced back and turned it around. But we can't take that for granted. It's a short season. Mm-hmm. And again, like I said, Penn State's mad as hell right now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they lost the game.
The quarterback's small. He's good. He has good, quick feet. But one thing is that if you get pressure on him, he's going to fool.
And we got to see that pressure. Yeah. They got their own Garrett there, a defensive tackle that played really well. They had another player with a similar name as another great one, and I can't think of who it was. But they got some new younger talent that is really shaping up to be something promising, and I'm glad it's finally here. It was just weird having that first month and a half without him there in the fall. Mm-hmm. Took that for granted, and I think don't quote me. No. They weren't supposed to. I think they're playing Akron next year. I was going to bring up they're playing.
Next year.
Yeah.
2020,
something like that. Yeah, because Akron was supposed to be Clemson. That was their tough team there, and that would have been just a beatdown. But I mean, they play those games for the money. In case you don't know how that works, but
Akron starts
the week after.
Okay,
I forget who they kick off with. I know it's not Ohio. Kent State's game 3. I'm tempted to say it's Western Michigan. I'll have to look it up. But I'm trying to go. But no fans in the stands, so we can't even go. Which is funny because on a normal Akron day, that there's plenty of social distancing. There really is. But I'm looking forward to I know like last year they didn't win any, but they were going at similar pace Kent State was going at, where they had brought in a new coach, cleaned house, new system. Bad year, but the next year they won a bowl game. Right. Kent State did, and that's what they're hoping for Akron here. They got a local kid running, coaching the team now, and the players really, really like him. They really respond to him, and that wasn't always said about previous Akron coaches. Not necessarily the direct one that he replaced, but the ones before that and whatnot, where they said they really like. They're really for this coach, and that's always a good thing. I actually bumped into a Kent State grad recently, older guy. To tell you how older he is, his last day as a member of the band was the Elite 8 in the basketball tournament. So yeah, it's been a while. Then when Antonio Gates played for Kent State, but he was not happy when he heard I was a Kent grad but an Akron fan. I mean, it was a look of disappointment. But it's like it's that time of the year, you know what I mean? So it's anybody's go for the MAC. And again, a lot of underrated talent comes out of that. So I'll be looking forward to seeing what Akron could do. I'll follow what Kent State. They're my alma mater after all. I'll follow what they can do. They did win a bowl game last year, so they're going to be in it. They're going to be in the thick of things. Ohio U, what they'll bring to the table, and the normal stuff. And then Toledo, who's had a great program. They recruited some kids out of St. Phi that were a couple years ago. They were really good. So now this is the time that these guys will be rising up to the occasion. I mean, some very athletic. I know somebody, I can't think of his name. He went to St. Phi. He was cornerback, running back, all the fun positions. He could play them all. He turned down Ohio State, Kent State, West Virginia to go to Toledo. Something about Toledo turned him on. And we're talking full rides here. Now, that's his personal decision. I'm not playing him down. And again, with Toledo, he'd probably get more automatic playing time as opposed to Ohio State, who had held him back and, develop him, do their thing. Again, though, I mean, Meyer was looking at him, and some players look, when they want to sign up, they want that coach, and Meyer's no longer there. Day is incredible. I like him a lot. But, I mean, we had that recently. There was a D lineman, I think. He switched to Texas A&M or Oklahoma or something because he just said, this is not what I signed up for. So he went on, so it is what it is. So there you go. Ohio State at Penn State. this weekend. We're looking forward to it. It'll be a very spooky full moon event there in the Big Ten.
This is also, real short here, this is a game that actually Penn State needs to win to get back into that playoff talk.
Right.
They were just sitting at 8. They were just at 8. I mean, they're still in it.
Right.
But now they're 18, so they're 18, is that right?
Yep.
18,
they're
so
18.
Yeah.
Indiana
so Penn State actually needs this one. This is huge. This is huge. This got even...
This could make or break Penn State season.
Yeah, this is... Yeah.
We got to take a break, 5-minute break real quick, and we'll be right back. We're going to be talking about our pro football picks when we come back. So stay tuned to 10 Cent Beer Night here, PolymerCityRecords.com.
These blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. Oh, the blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. Let these blues is a low down and an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down and an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil. Shaky, and some were kinda sneaky, and some a little freaky. They say you find a soulmate, and maybe you do, but it's still not the same till she's through with you. Let's talk about the flame, now what you gonna do? Not talking about games. I want no one but you. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. And she's just my style. And she's just my style. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. And she's with me. She knows my name. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. She's blind to the world like I like to do. She saved me from myself when I thought I was through. She steals my heart like a thief. Lets me ride on the ground like a falling leaf. Turns me around in my own disbelief. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. And she's just my style. And she's just my style. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame. She's my twin flame.
10-Cent Beer Night, the sports show of PolymerCityRecords.com every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on PolymerCityRecords.com. I'm Seth Lepaki.
I'm Chris.
And Chris is here. We talk a lot of football, so now it's time. We had a great week of pro football this past week. A lot of entertaining games, and a lot of news and drama and everything that happened there. So it's going to make a very interesting trade deadline in a week or so. Moves are still being made. We'll see if any more get made between now and then. We're going to first do our game-by-game predictions of the week, and we're going to be talking about the moves and everything while we do that. So let's get started, why don't we? We have a game Thursday Night Football tomorrow. We have a rivalry game. The 1-6 Atlanta Falcons versus the 3-4 Carolina Panthers. Chris, what are we thinking on this one? Atlanta had a chance to win another game, did not pull it off. Panthers not playing too bad right now.
They're not playing bad, yeah.
No, I think they lost their last one.
They lost their last one.
But
man, these picks get difficult here. You know what? I'll go with I went with Carolina last week. I'm going to go with Atlanta this week.
All right. Any reason why?
Atlanta needs a win. That's my reason.
Atlanta needs a win.
I think Matt Ryan's going to have a good game. He's been playing good, though, this year. Especially for fantasy stats. Matt Ryan has been playing real good. But let's see. 24-21.
24-21 there. I'm going to go 27-24. I'm going to go with Carolina on this one. This one could go either way. I don't think you're wrong. I think this is going to be a solid one to watch for. The reason I'm going with Carolina is just that Atlanta is such in a bad funk right now. And Carolina's, again, they've been consistently playing well. They do have a young defense that Matt Ryan can pick on, but at the same time, Atlanta has really next to no defense. Teddy Bridgewater has been moving the ball very well. The Carolina's at home. I think it's going to make the difference there. I think they edge them out. It could go either way for sure. It's just that people probably did not know, but this game was going to probably be better of a matchup than they thought at the beginning of the season. Even with Atlanta struggling, it just this rivalry matchup just makes sense on a Thursday night here. So I'm going with Carolina there. And we'll see, though, if the Falcons win one, they kind of deserve it there. I thought they were going to have last week, and they didn't.
Yeah, I know.
Here you go. Right now, this team is having a fire. This is the first 1 o'clock game on Sunday. One team's having a fire sale. One team is on fire. The 1-5 Vikings will play the 5-1 Packers. What are we feeling here?
Green Bay. 42-17.
42-17. I would say around there, too. If I had to pick a score, I would say 38-14 or something like that. It's going to be somewhere around there. There's going to be a lot of touchdowns from Aaron Rodgers. Then Vikings flipped their defensive ends to the Ravens, and that one kind of shocked me. And they got a little less to return than what they had to give up to give in the first place. It makes you question whether there's going to be a coaching and a front office change here at the end of the year. We were talking about that. We were right about Dan Quinn. We saw it coming with O'Brien. We're still waiting to see what happens with Gase. But we weren't talking about the Vikings, and now we might have to talk about the Vikings. Zimmer, who I think is a good head coach, is he on his way out? And then that front office might make a change too. Things are pretty muddy there. Kirk Cousins, I think he leads the lead in interceptions. If that's not him, it's Wentz. It's one of them.
And Cook's been hurt, right?
Cook's been out. He's supposed to. I have him on a fantasy team. They're saying right now he's going to play. If not, Madison's going to come in. But right now it's looking likely he's going to play. And they're going to need Cook to help carry the offensive load. The good thing is if they get Cook back, it might be a little closer than we predict. Only because Mike Pettin's defense, just that Mike Pettin, Browns fans. He's a defense coordinator there in Green Bay. They're not playing so hot.
No.
They're not bad, but they're not playing up to par of what a 5-1 team should look like. Of course, Green Bay's Aaron Rodgers has been carrying the load on that team for a while there. especially this year. It's been working out well. This is good. If you're a Packers fan, this will be a fun one. If you're a Vikings fan, this is going to be another ugly one for you.
Right.
That's how I feel about that one. Moving on, we got the 5-1 Tennessee Titans coming off their first loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the 5-1 Cincinnati Bengals, who for the second week in a row blew a chance to win the game. This is in Cincinnati. Chris, who's going to come out on top on this one?
Oh, Titans. I think Burrow's still going to have a good game. I think
He always
he's
does.
still going to have a good game. He's going to have a good game against Titans.
Except was it Ravens was
Yeah.
the only team he
Yeah.
didn't do so well.
He was going to have a good game, but it's going to be, let's say, 35-20, something like that. It's gonna be, might be a
35-20.
little closer, maybe because Titans probably got a pretty good defense. Bengals doesn't, but something about this game might be a little trigger, a little close
Right.
for a little bit, might be. But it'd be Titans all the way.
Burrow's really
yeah.
picking up in the NFL passing game very fast. Titans are a good defense, but some of their secondary, I think,
Yeah,
needs a little
they're
tweaking.
tweaked, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's good. It's playoff good, but it's not Super Bowl good. You know what I mean? So they almost have it. And they got a couple good young players there that are developing. They could develop into Pro Bowl type players in the long run. No, I'm going to go with Titans too. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a, how should I say it? It's going to be a little harsher of a game. I will say 42-24. So maybe a little bit similar to what you were saying there. I think more touchdowns from the Titans. They're going to avoid using Gostkowski as much as possible with field goals.
Right.
He's just been off.
Yeah.
And then Burrow's going to go lead a couple touchdown drives in the end of it. I think the big part too is first of all, Titans are a tough team. You saw that last week. That Tennessee-Pittsburgh game lived up to standards. Looked like for a while your boys were going to run away with it, and then Tennessee came right back, and it got fun. We had on Red Zone the Tennessee-Pittsburgh game, and then we had the Cleveland-Cincinnati game on TV at the place I was at. So it lived up to expectations. But the thing I noticed too, and it surprised me, Cincinnati doesn't pressure like they should.
Right.
And you have to do that against the Titans. You have to make Tannehill get out of the pocket or something. If they hand it off to Henry, which they will, it's going to be a complete nightmare for Cincinnati. And I think that's where most of the points will be scored.
Yeah.
Henry's going. If you have Henry on a fantasy team, you're going to have a good day there. I think Tannehill will have a decent game too. I can see them forcing maybe one turnover against Tannehill, but other than that, Bengals still have a lot to work on.
Yeah.
And Tennessee is hungry for another win after their loss
Burrows
last
moves the ball. That's what I like about him. He can move the ball.
Right.
And it's too bad they don't have a defense. They could win some games. They had a defense
Or consistent
Yeah.
run game.
or that too.
You know,
but he can move the ball. He looks.
he can't.
Man.
His vision is
Yeah.
above average for rookies. And I'm not an NFL scout, so I can't tell you what's average or what. But you can just tell he finds the open guy.
Right.
He really. And the one prediction I had I always give like personal predictions for every team, especially in fantasy. The one I had that came true, and I'm glad because I kept telling people for years, this guy's good. He just needs a quarterback. You're finally seeing the quality wide receiver that is Tyler Boyd because he's got a guy that gives him the ball.
Yeah.
Because I kept saying, this guy's good. Like, this is somebody that they need to get a quarterback for because he could be just as valuable as A.J. Green was or
Right.
even better, Ocho Cinco in his heyday. And now it's being clear as day. This is Burrow's favorite target, and he can get open, and he can get the ball to him. Cincinnati's got a bright future, but they need a lot on that defense and whatnot. My only encouragement to Bengals fans, this is a team I don't like. I mean, it's in the same division, it's in the same state, whatnot. But if I'm just being a football fan, keep Zach Taylor another year. If you even go, let's see, it would be 14-1. He needs more help, and you don't want to throw more different people at Burrow.
Right.
You know what I mean? They need as much help as they can get right now, and just keep him. It's going to be a rough going, but you at least have some blueprint for success here. You know what I mean? Definitely, AFC North, I get it, has three of the young rising budding stars in the division right now. Not leaving Roethlisberger out, but he is old.
Mm-hmm.
But it's making the division tougher and tougher. Even with Cincinnati's record not being what they want it to be, that's when Cleveland's done with them. When Pittsburgh and Baltimore play them again, they're going to have to take them seriously. Even Baltimore who beat them down, they're going to take, because Cincinnati could just take one away from them when they're not expecting it. So, no, I got Titans are winning. Titans will start feeling good again. All right. So if you have Pat Mahomes or Travis Kelce or Clay Edwards or even Le'Veon Bell on a fantasy team, congratulations. They play the 0-7 Jets in Kansas City. Kansas City being 6-1. I just have to ask, because I have to ask, who do you got here?
Let's see here. Casey.
Oh. I was getting worried. Unless you knew something I didn't know.
No. Now, talk fancy talk.
Okay.
Mahomes needs this game.
Yes.
Fancy stats, he has not been good the last 3 weeks.
No, he's been decent.
Last week has not been in his 30s and 40s like he normally is.
Last week was bad. Yeah. He got the first snow game of the year.
Right.
And which is that took me for a loop when I saw that before the game started. I went,
whoever has him this week in fantasy, they are loving it because he should destroy the Jets.
How much do you think?
Let's go. I always kind of say with the ball control run, 42-10.
42-10. I'll go 56-10.
56. Oh,
I'm gonna say they're gonna go off. They're gonna have a feel good game here. This could even steal Adam Gase's fate in this one. I mean, if you go 0-8 and this guy's been a head coach before, there's just I just think Gase eventually needs to go. You have Greg Williams, who did a good job as interim with Cleveland. Why not just get rid of Gase and then you can just have Williams come up here, win a game or two for you, unless they really want that first overall pick there. No, Chiefs are going to roll. This is going to be a great fantasy day for them. And I'm seeing Jamison Crowder and Sam Ficken for the Jets have missed practice. Those are two critical players for them already. It's just looking worse and worse if you're a Jets fan. I think I just said Chiefs before, but those are two Jets players. This one, again, if you're a Chiefs fan or fantasy player that has those players, it's going to be a fun one. If you're a Jets fan, this is not going to be a fun one at all. You're probably dreading it. They probably have already bought a couple bottles to get ready for it. So why not? This is going to be a long season for them. And Jets fans, I've been there. I've been there a couple of years ago. I know how it is. Just hope that you get the right people in the off season. If you stick to who you have, don't take my Bengals advice, Jets. Don't. You got a clean house at this point here. This one could be a good one. The 4-2 Colts coming after a bye week play on the 3-3 Lions.
Lions are looking a little better. Swift
comeback win last week.
Swift is looking better. He's getting comfortable. He's showing a little bit. You know what? Let's go with the Lions. I think Old Man Rivers. I don't know. That's why I call him Old Man Rivers. He's just something about him. Yeah, he's good quarterback, but there's something about him. Colts defense kind of banged up still. I think their linebacker is still out though. Colts defense.
He might be
a little banged up still. But let's go with Detroit. Darius
Leonard maybe.
Yeah, he was hurt Browns game. I think he's still hurt when they played the Browns. Let's see here. Let's go. I might be a little close a little bit here. Let's see here. Let's see. 28-17.
28-17 you're going to go with. That is a great... I'm going to go 24-17. I'm going to go with the Lions, though, only because watching them... They have a great offense. They do, once they get the ball rolling. If the defense can stay clutch like they did at the second half of the Atlanta game, they got this game. They're at home. The Colts aren't a bad team. The Colts, they're interesting. They're that team. They're very well coached. They have some good key players. But there's parts of them that need upgraded before we can say they're a playoff team. And the only reason I've kind of written them off, even though I'm looking at their... Basically, the Colts' problem is Tennessee Titans and the wild card teams, including the Browns.
Right.
That's what's keeping them
Yeah.
they're in the bubble, but looking ahead at their schedule and what they have, it's a hard case to make for the Colts if they're going to be this playoff team or not. The Colts are one of the teams that if they can make a massive trade to trade up for either Lawrence or Fields, they should. I just got a text. Colts offense sucks. So there you go. Somebody's watching. No, Colts offense is. I mean, they got Jason Taylor, the rookie. They got Pittman Jr. He's hurt, but he's a good receiver. If they can trade up and get somehow massive trade up and get Lawrence or Fields, that's going to set the tone in the playoffs for them coming out. And again, in the Colts defense too, if I would have told Colts fans Andrew Luck will be retired for the second year in 2020, they would say, "What?" Like if I said this like 3-4 years ago, they would think I'm nuts. Some of them might say, "Well, he always gets hurt," or some of them like, "I don't know about that." You know, that's why they're in this problem right now.
Right.
They had it written down on paper somewhere. Luck is going to be our long-term guy. Now they got to find another long-term. Now Rivers wasn't a bad replacement, but it's like he's getting there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're seeing it. We saw with Eli last year. Roethlisberger's hanging in. I'll give him credit. It's because he missed a lot of last year, so he's he's more serious about winning right now. And again, he had time to rest. I mean, he had a heel too. In his
he had a heel. Yeah.
But so we're not seeing it as much from him. But Rivers, it's.
Yeah,
we're and he's had in my opinion he's had statistically a Hall of Fame career. There's a case to be made about him making the Hall of Fame. It's just it's disappointing he didn't have enough in San Diego when they were San Diego. It is what it is. I got Lions in this one, so as you did too. So we'll see that one's could be a good game. Coming up. Well, we got another game. This game could be game of the week. I think I know what you're going to say. You're going to sound off in this one. The 6-0 Pittsburgh Steelers play the 5-1 Ravens. One of the toughest rivalries in the NFL. Okay, Chris, where are your Steelers sitting on this game?
Well, who's going to show up? Is this going to be a defense to show up again? Put pressure on Lamar Jackson? Make him feel uncomfortable, make him go more with the run, stop the run. What are they going to do? It's just the Steelers' offense going to be consistent on third downs and win third downs. It's going to be interesting. I'm going with the Steelers 24-20 in this game. Very tight defensive game, both sides. I think Steelers will have a key pick, which they've been doing.
Right.
Successful on defense, so have a key pick. I think they're going to make Lamar Jackson feel uncomfortable early, but I think Lamar Jackson's going to bounce back, and it's going to make this game tight. It's going to be a defensive game. Steelers 24-20 in Baltimore. If not, eat my words, but like I said last week, Steelers are still due for that good loss. They're still for that one good loss. They're still due for.
Well, you'll be happy to hear for the third straight week I got the Steelers winning by 7.
Yeah.
So I would say 27-20, 24-17, somewhere in that. It's not going to be as high scoring as people think.
Yeah.
Here's my reason being for it. Obviously, when the Steelers are hot, they've been hot. They tend to stay that way until they get that one loss or whatever, which will have. And I will tell you right now, they win this game here, and I'm right. Baltimore will get them back in Pittsburgh. So you're going to have at least one. They're going to split. I think this year, but I think that this Sunday Pittsburgh wins in Baltimore, and here's the reason why. Again, they've been playing very well too. The other thing is you kept saying about Pat Mahomes isn't living up to fantasy standards. He hasn't been himself. The other guy who has not been himself, even worse in my opinion, is Lamar Jackson.
Right.
It's not that he's been playing bad, but some teams have figured out how to contain him. I won't say fully figured him out, but they're slowly figuring out ways to, he won't run on us if we do this. If we cover these guys this way. They've been watching plenty of tape on him where they're like, okay, we can settle him down and make him make that throw, make him make that pass or throw it away. Something like that. Because there's all different kinds of ways you can play a guy. And I think he's going to be coming into this game here. He knows the pressure's on. He knows his defense is going to come right at him. And the other thing too, I've always pointed out with the Ravens is they have solid wide receivers.
Right.
They're just not the biggest guys. You look at Claypool. You look at a couple of the other. I'm not sure about how tall is Juju.
Oh, Claypool's taller than him.
Claypool's okay, but you look at some of these receivers Pittsburgh's have passed to Antonio Brown, who they used to have, some of the bigger, thicker kind of guys, and if they're hard to guard, but they can be guarded. It depends on your play. My point going with this is Ravens have some good. They can catch the ball, no problem. Yeah. It's mostly speed, if anything, which is not bad. Look at what KC's done in the past couple years. I think the way the Pittsburgh defense is designed, okay, if they can catch up with that agility and that speed, jumping off the tight end or something, but this is going to be a problem for the Ravens there. Ingram's starting to slow down too as a running back, I'm noticing. He's getting up there for running back age. My gut is saying Steelers are going to pull out this one, and that's going to anger the Ravens to be more prepared next time.
I think if Steelers play a clean game, Steelers will handle this game. But sometimes they don't always, like the second half in the Titans game, they started playing not a clean game. Getting these crazy, these face masks, all these crazy penalties. It keeps Titans' drive going. And if they play a clean game, a sound game, win third downs, it's been a key for Steelers this year. They're winning the third downs and scoring in the red zone, no matter what. If it's field goal or touchdown, getting points is going to be a key thing. And their defense plays tight. The Steelers can pull this out. It's going to be close.
It is.
It's going to be close.
I think the other factor, too, is we keep talking about Steelers defense, Ravens defense.
Ravens defense is good, too.
Ravens defense, too. I mean,
that's why they got a consistent keep these drives going, Steelers, and then wearing down Ravens defense.
I've said this the past 3, maybe 4 drafts. I mean, I look at the draft recap, and again, we don't know till 3 years out if the draft's good or not. And it angers me to say the past 4 drafts, I've put the Ravens in my top 5 because they're always getting key defense players mid-round, first round, whatever, that I really liked. And when they get them, I go, damn it, why does it have to be in Baltimore? And now you're seeing the results of those great picks coming out is this is why their defense is consistent, because they're drafting these playmakers. They're drafting these guys that in the front 7 that are just making things happen. And it's just aggravating as somebody, a fan of the AFC North, watch that, because it's like you hate to admit they're doing things right, but they are doing things right, and that's going to be a key factor. And Roethlisberger's going to have a difficult game too. It's not this one's not going to come easy. This is going.
It's going to be one of them. The AFC North hitting, just smack in the face football game. But if the Steelers do, like I say, if they keep containing, like I say, limit the penalties, win your third downs, keep Lamar Jackson out the field, they can pull this one out. But like I say, it could go either way. I mean,
exactly,
could go either way. But I like to see the Steelers win. It'd be nice to go 7-0.
I know you would like that. I'm just giving an honest prediction, and I think they're going to get it. I don't like either team, but the game's got to be played. It's got to happen. Who I got Pittsburgh on that one. Moving on, we still got some 1:00 games on Sunday. The 5-2 Rams versus the 3-3 Dolphins. Tua's first game as a starter here, and Rams have been playing very well, with the exception of that 49ers game they blew a couple Sunday nights ago. What are we thinking? Miami.
I like Rams. I think Tua's going to have a good game because of being a rookie. Less film, blah, blah. I think Tua should have a good game, which I'm still kind of leery about that switch-up they did, though. Fitzpatrick and him. Right. It's kind of Fitzpatrick is actually playing decent.
I'll give my 2 cents when you're done here.
They're 3-3 going to that bye week, and he was actually playing pretty decent. They were winning, which is kind of crazy. Miami's winning.
Right.
But, we got there again?
Rams.
Rams. Yeah, Rams defense will, I think, make Tua uncomfortable. So Rams, let's see, it might be kind of closer than you think a little bit. It might 28-21.
28-21.
Tua might go off towards late and can make a little comeback.
There you go. I am going to go with 34-13 Rams are going to win this one.
Okay.
The reason being, I am sold on what the Rams have been doing, how they've been playing. The defense has been top 5, played very, very well. Goff's been moving the ball like he did the year they went to the Super Bowl. The run game, obviously, it's not as dominant as when they went to the Super Bowl with Gurley, but the run game ain't bad either. The switch-ups they've been doing. I really liked... The Rams are just a well-coached team. They're playing very well. What you were bringing up before with the Fitzpatrick thing, that still irks me. Because, being a fan of a team that struggled, rebuild what seems like forever. All right, I've been watching this Miami team. I still partially question the Tua pick because of the injury. Okay, could they have gotten him later? They went with him. He's their future, whatever. They finally start winning. You said I like Flores, their head coach. That came out of New England. I think he's a great coach. I think he still needs more, and they'll give him another year.
Right.
So he's not. I don't think he's in any danger. Fitzpatrick was playing well. He was actually a top 10 fantasy quarterback, I think. Mm-hmm. They're like you said, they're winning. They're 3-3. I would not have thought the Dolphins were 3-3. I would have had them at like 1-6.
Yeah.
Or 1-5 in this case, something like that. He was moving the ball. He was playing well. And then what confused me is then you hear he's doing the switch up. He's doing the switch up because this was the plan all along. Fitzpatrick was in it. Then it comes out. Okay, this is coming from the fans of the Miami media. This is coming from the coaching staff. Fitzpatrick is finally talking about the subject, and he was shocked, disappointed. It hurt him, and I'm thinking, this wasn't part of. If this was part of the plan, they didn't tell him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think they're just not helping themselves. They should let Tua sit if they want to play. It's one thing like the Herbert situation. Okay, unfortunately, Tyrod Taylor should have been avoidable incident that happened with him, but Herbert comes in, he plays a bit. Why don't we just keep him out there? That would have been one thing. Fitzpatrick was playing healthy. They were playing overall well. Mm-hmm. You know what? They're playing better than New England. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's. I have an issue. I have nothing personal against Tua either. This is his time to shine. He's going up against a very tough defense, so I really wish him well. I will throw out a fun point though, so people might not think of, because he didn't get a touchdown when he first came. He just threw a couple passes.
I think 2 passes.
Yeah, that was it. If his first touchdown, he runs it in, that means the first 3 quarterbacks in this draft selected, their first touchdown was running it in. Yeah, Burrow's first touchdown, he ran it in. Herbert's first touchdown, he ran it in. And then Tua was picked between them. Yeah. So and Tua does run it when he can. So, yeah, that's something to just watch out for, fans. If Tua decides to run it in the end zone as his first touchdown, that's, I think, the first time in NFL history that's ever happened with the first 3.
Yeah, he's a running and throwing quarterback, so throws on the run, too. And, so I think it's going to be, in my opinion, it might be a little closer just because of the preparing for him,
right.
The Rams. And being a rookie quarterback, sometimes it's hard to prepare for rookie quarterbacks when they come in. So
that's true, and nothing against LA or Tua, but I would like to see if Tua pulls this out. Good for him. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. I do think statistically, you take away 2 potential touchdowns when Fitzpatrick is sitting.
Yeah,
that. Yeah. I would not pick them if Fitzpatrick was starting, but I would say this was going to be closer. I don't think this is now, but I would love Tua to prove me wrong. But we got Los Angeles just winning in Miami as far as that game is concerned. We got a couple minutes before break. Let's do one more. We'll do the one right before the Browns one, so I get to go off there. We got the struggling 2-4 New England Patriots in Buffalo. The Bills are 5-2. Bills just back on the winning track recently. How are we feeling about this AFC East matchup?
It's kind of weird seeing New England like this. I don't know.
It is, but I don't mind it.
You don't mind it, but yeah, it's kind of weird seeing them like this because of, how Tom Brady always, ruled that offense and this. And Cam Newton struggling. I don't know if that COVID thing kind of just made him weird after that because he's struggling now. I'll go with the Bills. I think Allen will have a good game. Let's go. It might be tight, but let's go. I'm always picking. Let's go 35. Diggs might have a good game too. 35-21.
35-21. I'll go 31-17.
Okay.
I'll say there. New England's just not playing well. They're not. The defense is okay.
Yeah, defense is okay. Yeah.
I had a friend that hit the nail on the mark. When New England wasn't playing, he was saying what you're saying. It's weird. I said, forget about it. Like, I'm not a New England hater. I'm not a Belichick hater.
It's weird. But it's just weird. It's
their time to stink now.
Right.
It's their time. You know what I mean? Like, he brought up that one year Brady got hurt. A random guy named Matt Castle comes in their center, and they go 11-5. They take Brady out, and they still do well. Like, they've done well. There was games that they came back that you didn't think they were going to come back. Like, they had their time. We can't say they didn't have their time. It's the Buffalo Bills' time to own that division. Buffalo's been sitting in the cellar for a while, rotating in at least. Bills have a great team. They're in Buffalo. Let's give these fans something to smile about here. They're going to beat down Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots here. Patriots will be a top 10 draft pick, I think, when it's said and done.
That's crazy.
And you know what? They could, like I said with the Colts, they could be one of those teams that says, all in, we're trading up. We're going to get the next big piece. But we'll find out. We got to take a break. 5-minute break here at PolymerCityRecords.com, 10-cent beer night. We'll be right back, and then we will talk about the Browns and more. The rest of the NFL there. So we got Bills winning in Buffalo against the Patriots. We'll see you guys here in a bit.
All these blues. This morning the blues walked in like a man. All these blues. The blues walked in like a man. Worried blues. Give me your right hand. All the blues is a low down and a shaking chill. Yes, preach it now. If you ain't never had 'em, I hope you never will. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. When I preach these blues, you come on in, take your seat and sit on down. And if the spirit moves you, if the spirit moves you, and if the spirit moves you, Lord, if the spirit moves you, jump straight up and down. down in an aching heart disease. Yeah, these blues is a low down in an aching old heart disease. Like consumption, killing me by degrees. I can study the rain, oh, I drive my blues away. I've been studying the rain, I'm gonna drive my blues away. Going out to the distillery, gonna stay out there all day. Up jump the devil.
Records commercial there. A lot of posing of Roger and his guitars and all kinds of crazy things there. We are going to be at the Pandemic Con. It's the Comic Con of Akron. Not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, November 7th, I believe it is. There, we'll see you. Make a stop by there. And I'll be there from the beginning till about probably 5 p.m. It goes till 7 p.m. A great sci-fi, horror, and all kinds of stuff will be there. And then we're going to be there with sports, Professor Psyopsz, and music. What we do here at PolymerCityRecords.com. 10-cent beer night, the sports show on Wednesday night, 7:30, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm Seth, and that's Chris. There you go. We still got our remaining football games to talk about till in our last half hour of the show. Let's get to it, and it's the local team. It's the 3-3 Las Vegas Raiders in Cleveland against the 5-2 Cleveland Browns. Chris, I know you don't like the Browns, but give me your brutally honest pick. What do you think is going to happen here?
The Raiders played Tampa Bay.
They played Tampa Bay, yeah.
Last week. The game was kind of close there till Brady went off. They really got no running game. Raiders really got no running game. I think I'm going with the Browns with this one. They're at home. Yeah, you heard that. So,
yeah.
Will Baker have a 22 passes straight like he did last time in this game? There's no Odell. Blah, blah. His offense going to run better. We'll find out, but it's going to be a close game. I think I'm going to go... I think the Browns' defense might play a little bit better. Because they might match up a little better against the Raiders. Let's see. I think high scoring again because the Browns got no defense. So 34, 31 or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be that close.
I think it's going to be that close. I think it's going to be another close game, but
there you go.
I think the Browns will pull it off, though.
When they lost to Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago, I looked at the schedule. I think you remember me saying in the next 5 games, at worst, they should be 4-1.
Right.
Okay, that potential one was this weekend, and I'll tell you why, and where my head's at now. Okay, the Raiders and Browns games have always been good.
Right.
They got John Gruden this time around, a guy from the area, grew up a Cleveland Browns fan, so he wants to beat them. You know what I mean? Very good coach and whatnot. It's always been close. The Raiders have won the past couple. Okay, but normally when the Browns and Raiders were a bottom 5 team, this was a very good matchup. Now they're 2 teams that want to fight for the playoff talk. So still a good matchup, just better scenario, and if you really think about it. The Raiders have been very inconsistent so far this year. They did beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, they did.
But they didn't play very well against the Buccaneers, I felt. I thought we'd see a better game from them. You're right, the run game has been hurt. The receivers are young and banged up. Young's not a terrible thing, but they're pretty injured right now. The Browns' defense is a big, big question mark. They did not show up very well last week. They were very disappointed. To the point a lot of people forget because we're so overshadowed by Baker's performance. The defense could have closed the game there and then with Terrence Mitchell with a potential pick six, and he drops it.
Right.
That's the kind of stuff you cannot do. You have to avoid that at all costs. They're coming in against a bigger offensive line, too, with that Browns defense there. That being said, there are some positives, okay? Baker came out and proved he is the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns last week. After a terrible 0-5 start, he came out on fire with one of the best Cleveland Browns performances I have seen in years. He is the only Cleveland Brown, he's the third Cleveland Brown to throw 5 touchdowns in one game the past 40 years. Derek Anderson and Kelly Holcomb, the others, all 3 against the Bengals. I remember the other ones too. I do. Holcomb was fighting for a playoff spot, and Anderson went off in the second game of the season that year. So that's just some interesting statistics there. Odell is gone for the season. That does hurt him in some ways. It doesn't help him in any way. Yeah. But it seemed that the one thing I will say is he always seemed to force it to Beckham, and you can't do that. My advice, and again, I'm not in the NFL. Beckham would probably smack me for saying this, but it's, if you want the ball, get open. And at times he did, and he didn't get the ball. But he threw it in double coverage that one time, and he didn't do that the rest of the game. When Odell was hurt, he spread it out to whoever was open. However, with that performance, they are very more upbeat. They know what they're going to do. They need to do. Baker still needs to play with a chip off his shoulder. Hunt's going to step it up, I think, this one. I'm going 38-24 Cleveland in this one. The next 3 games are at home. This is going to be a good streak of games for them starting this weekend. It might start off close, and then Cleveland's going to break out a bit. They still force turnovers on the defensive side of the ball. I really like this. At first, I was a little nervous about this a couple weeks ago, but after the last game, and I know people would say, well, it was against the Bengals. A win's a win, okay? Yeah, they were about to lose it. They won it in the last. The thing is, the weirdest thing's happening, okay? This team is definitely growing. It's definitely improving. They're doing non-Cleveland Browns, what we're used to stuff, and they're making the other team do Cleveland Browns stuff. Prime example, the Cowboys game. Cowboys are coming back. We're like, oh, no. Here we go again. Yeah. Beckham runs it for 50-some yards and a touchdown. Normally, it's the other team that does that. Last week, they hit the game-winning touchdown with 11 seconds left. Usually, it's the other team that does that. So all this weird stuff I like that I'm not getting used to is happening. Right. So I'm starting to be a little bit more confident in this. The Raiders, this is going to be a good game. Again, they beat the Chiefs before. They proved they can win football games. They still need a little bit more. They really do. I like the Browns here. Again, Odell is hurt. Nick Chubb is hurt. He could come back a couple weeks. He got a bye week next week. So it would be good to leave on a 2-game winning streak going into the bye
Hunt
week.
was questionable, but I don't know what.
He's been on and off. Okay. He'll play. The one guy I want to talk about that's not getting talked about that needs to, that I would love to see there, Wyatt Teller was the best run-blocking offensive lineman in the league. He went down after the Colts game, I think it was. He got hurt. Chris Hubbard, former Steeler, he's been well filling in at right guard and right tackle. He's been doing a solid job, but you can tell Teller was opening up some holes in that run game that Hubbard's not. I would love to see Wyatt Teller back up there to open that run game. That's the one guy we're really missing, and that's not to write off Odell or Greedy Williams or anybody that we haven't been seeing or we won't see for the rest of this year. But I think we really need Wyatt Teller to open this up. I think the big question, too, is for Browns fans, and we won't be able to talk about more until the next week, are we going to see a big trade of some sort from them? I mean, they're at bye week. They're going to be sitting there like, who could we bring in on either side of the ball? And there's a couple of teams with fire sales. Do we burn a mid-round draft pick or something to bring somebody in? I don't know. And that's going to be something. I mean, I think the Browns are buyers. Usually, it's either they do something or they really don't. They're not like the Cavs where they got to make a move, or the Indians that make a couple little moves. This could be, they're either going to make a break move, or they're going to not make any move at all. Which, as long as they don't make a bad move, it doesn't matter. But no, I'm going with the Browns in Cleveland. So that if that happens, they'll be 6-2. I won't say it's a must-win game, but it's a game that should.
If the Raiders are more of a running game, a little healthier in certain ends, I think I might pick the Raiders in this game.
Right.
But I think Dave's probably gonna have a good game. But I think they're just gonna make too many mistakes on the road there in Cleveland to cost them the game.
Right. And with the exception of the James Conner performance, and even some of them went down balls. Basically, their two worst games.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good against the run. They shut Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati didn't have any run.
Yeah,
game,
no.
With Mixon hurt,
yeah.
they really haven't. But so it's going to be the pass, and I think Carr would be a decent fantasy option if you have him.
Oh yeah.
Moving on to the 4:00 games now, we got the 2-4 Los Angeles Chargers, versus the 2-4 Denver Broncos. Broncos played Mahomes decently, but wasn't enough to win last week. Herbert won his first game as a pro quarterback last week. Who do you like here? This is going to be a good one. This is two division teams, same record.
Chargers.
Chargers.
Herbert's playing some good football. He could throw. He's playing some good football. Like a Chargers one. Let's go 28-14. Reason why? Because Herbert started fast on New Orleans.
Right.
And then Tampa Bay. Chargers were up in them games and blew it. So I think he'll start fast again this week and they'll win.
24-16, I'm going to go with the Chargers, too, as well. And it's going to also depend on the weather, too. Denver. I mean, we had our first snow game, and that was in Denver this past week. And that's why I said with the 16, with the kicking and everything. Denver does not have that great of an offense.
Right.
I mean, Locke's okay. Yeah. They never said he was the answer. This was more of a project here. They knew it was going to be another year out. Denver defense is not that bad. They really aren't. I think Herbert can move the ball. He can continue to move the ball well like he's been doing. But just that Denver team does not move the ball very well. A couple of dumb mistakes there the past couple of games there. I have a feeling Chargers are going to win this one. I think it'll be again with that kind of score. I think Broncos will have a last chance to try to win or tie it, and it's just going to fall apart. So where Chargers defense is not that great, unfortunately. So if the Broncos can find a way to move the ball, it's going to really help them. Like it would any other game, but specifically this one, you can make some big plays on this Chargers defense.
Right.
So, there you go. Moving on. This is going to be a good one, I feel. The 4-2 New Orleans Saints are going to Chicago against the 5-2 Bears. Bears did not play as well as they thought against the Rams. Yeah. And Saints have been playing better. Who you got here?
Yeah, Saints are. Yeah, I like Saints in this one. Breeze will have a good game, I believe. Let's see here. Might be 35. I think some high scoring here. 35, 21 or something like that.
I'll go 38-24, 27. 38-27. Bears, it's got an inconsistent offense. At times they can move it, at times they can't. Right. Montgomery's been kind of inconsistent. Yeah. I understand his role with the team. I like David Montgomery, but it's just it's either a really bad day or it's a really good day for him. It's usually not really in the middle. Nick Foles there doing all he can, but he's got some limited help. Bears defense very good. That's what's going to keep them in this one. With the Saints, it's interesting because there's that question about the Michael Thomas situation, which has people like me who have him on 2-3 fantasy teams are like, what's going on with this? Is it an injury, or from my understanding, it's not. He's suspended still.
Yeah, something argument or something that
a physical fight that happened in practice, and it's making you wonder how that went. We don't have any video of what happened, but it must have been really bad for Sean Payton to tell his best receiver they paid $100 million, a receiver who's on the trade market too. They said they've put him out there and they haven't got any nipples because of his contract situation. Something went south there with Michael, and I think they can win this game without him. But if he's there, it could be even a better game for the Saints. But again, is there chemistry issues now? Is there trust issues there? It's something you don't want to hear. It's similar in a different way. It wasn't fighting, but to what the Cleveland Indians faced with Clevenger and Plesac, where something happened in the background. It really upset the team, and now they're on limbo of what if they want to move forward with this. I can see the Saints winning. This is a team again, though. Breeze could use the help. He's got some good talent around him, but it's not been the top tier talent he's had in the past. But in the Saints defense, it's not what it used to be either. But they find a way to win. Sean Payton finds a way to win, and so does Drew Brees. I like this here. I think I'm not going to say the Bears start was a fluke, but I think the Bears are that 7-9, 8-8 team down the line where they are better than a lot of people. That I thought I had them as potential top 3 draft pick, but there's room to grow and building blocks they could add to next year to make them that playoff team. But also, again, they play Green Bay. Detroit's going to put up a fight against them too.
Right.
And, Minnesota's, they'll win that. I'll give them that one. But, no, I'm going to go with the Saints here as well. This is going to be a good one. This is a good NFC West battle. 4:25 p.m. the 4-3 49ers, who are playing much better these days, versus the 5-1 Seattle Seahawks that are just getting off a bye week. How do you feel about this game here?
The Seahawks lost, actually.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they lost.
That's right. They lost to
in overtime.
They had a bye week
Arizona,
2 weeks ago.
yeah.
They lost to Arizona. That was a good game. That slipped my mind. I apologize.
Yeah. It's another team finds a way to win close. Seahawks. Another team always finds a way. They play scrappy games. They find a way to win. I like Seahawks for this. Bounce back win here. Hopefully Metcalf can play better. They give the ball to him. I was very disappointed where he didn't touch the ball a lot. The run down by him was awesome. To save the touchdown.
Right.
That was awesome. But I hope he gets. I need him for my fantasy to get the ball more this week. Let's see. 20. They always win kind of close though. So I'm gonna 28. 28. 17.
28-17.
Yeah.
I'm going 31-24. It will be. 49ers are playing better now with Garoppolo there. They're still very banged up, but they stayed together, especially in a rivalry game. They upset the Rams a couple weeks ago. That was a good game for them. This is going to be one of the better games of the weekend, I think. Seattle coming off a defeat, a game they fought hard, and now so they want to get back on the winning side of things. And I'll give Cardinals all the credit in the world. They played very well. This is a very underrated team, and so far it's working. I questioned their hiring a coach, Kingsley, about a year or so ago. Now I'm seeing why they got him, and it's making more sense now. Just everything they needed to do, they did. So it's
one thing is San Francisco's running game's banged up though.
That too. Well, and I understand, and I had that in mind.
So.
But if you look at Kyle Shanahan's offense, they run it kind of weird, where it's just even the short passes get 5-6 yards, get it, go it, finish on the next down, whatnot. And no, you're absolutely right. This run game is very bruised up. And even so, Seattle's defense is pretty good too.
Well, I think Seattle's defense. I mean, they get scores on, but they find a way to bounce back. If you ever notice that,
right?
They find that takeaway they need.
They make those adjustments.
And that little interception, fumble, or whatever, sack, fumble, whatever they do, they find a way to get that big turnover.
Another thing we need to mention, you brought up about the 49ers run game. Chris Carson is looking like he's probably not going to play. It's a good chance. That's going to hurt. Seattle hasn't ran the ball as well since after the Marshawn Lynch era, but they always use Carson as a good passing option, and he's explosive when he gets in open field.
He's week to week, I believe. But Hyde had a good game last week, but he's not questionable this week. So,
right. But Hyde. He's good. But he's not great. You know what I mean?
But he had decent game.
He could have 50-some yards, carry the ball, and short yards to get the first down, whatever he needs to do.
I was impressed. He had a touchdown, and he had decent stats last week for a backup. But he had to fill in because Carson left the game, so he had to fill in more.
Right.
But Yeah, so Hyde is questionable this week, so they could be on their third string running back if they both don't play. So that should be interesting there.
I know a lot of people, including myself, do not like Joe Buck, but I bring it up because if for anybody in the area locally, I mean, they could have the Saints and Bears game instead, but if the 49ers Seahawks game is on after the Browns or the Steelers win or whatnot, definitely watch that game because that's going to be one of the better games of the week there. Again, if it's up, but if you have like the NFL Sunday Ticket or Red Zone or something, then you'll be able to watch it. But again, I don't know what Fox is going to play in this area, especially when Bears is more local than Seattle is right now. But moving on to the Sunday night game, and this one, oh my. This division,
actually, I like this from a fantasy aspect. I like this game.
Yeah.
I like this game a lot for my fantasy.
Yeah. Let's tell the folks at home real quick
I like
who
this
it is.
game a lot,
the 2-5 Dallas Cowboys take on the 2-4-1 Philadelphia Eagles. By the way, in case you haven't been paying attention, the 2-4-1 Eagles are first place in the NFC East, and the Washington football team and who's the other team I'm missing? Let's see, Philly, Dallas, Washington. And Giants. They're all a game behind. So that is your division in the NFC East. Chris, what do you want to say about this game here? This is not the game that people thought when they scheduled it.
No. Oh, no. It's not what actually for Sunday Night Football wants either, but they're gonna play it. I like Eagles in this one. Eagles' defense is a lot better than Dallas' defense. We can see that. Of course, they got Wentz. Is Dalton playing this week after he got knocked out? I don't know, but that's going to be a big factor there. Zeke has not been running the ball like Zeke does. So, I like Eagles in this one. I might even take Eagles kind of big in this, the way how things have been going, because
Jalen Rager's expected to play. They're rookie receiver, so that's good for them.
Yeah,
because they've been banged up at receiver.
Okay, so I got Eagles winning 35. I'm actually going to put some scores up there. So that Sanders thinks not playing this week. I think he's still out. So that's kind of tough for them with the running game there, Eagles. But I got them 35, 20 or something like that. I don't think Dallas is going to do too much.
I'll say 31-13. I'm going to go with the Eagles. In the second half, they're going to break loose. Reason being, the Cowboys are such a mess. Whether Dalton plays or not, it's not going to matter. That's what I'll put that out there. There's some drama about they want Mark McCarthy gone already. A proven winning coach. Something went south there. I don't know what happened. He had all the tools, and then other than Prescott getting hurt, I'll subtract that out of the equation.
Yeah, that's a blow there.
Yeah,
him getting hurt.
Yeah. Wentz. Here's the thing: is it might stay close at first, and my reason being is Wentz also leads the league in turnovers. Of all kinds of interceptions and fumbles. So Dallas could pull a turnover off there, but again, their defense is just so bad that Wentz can make up for it later. This is, again, like from a fantasy standpoint, like you said, if you got a couple of Eagles players, it's good. I don't know if Zeke's the only one I could see doing something. Maybe Amari Cooper's get a couple receptions there, but anybody that had a critical Cowboys player, I feel, and I was one of those with a couple teams, just because now, when you have a young Eagles receiving core that could put up better fantasy numbers than CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Ezekiel Elliott, it sounds crazy, but it's probably going to happen. It's just looking bad for Dallas. I feel for. I have nothing against Dallas. I feel for fans. I knew a Philadelphia fan that said, "I can't believe the Browns are 5-2 and my Eagles are 2-4-1."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like everybody's struggling there. And the fact that this very bad Washington and Giants team, who are in rebuilding in their defense, are still in the playoff talk because of this division so bad.
Took it to Dallas though. They physically beat Dallas physically.
And Ron Rivera's a great coach, and congratulations on his last chemo session too, and I hope he does well. I've had a cancer-stricken family, so I know how that feels there. So I'm glad he's still kicking ass, still coaching, still doing his thing. They had a beatdown, and just this reminds me of the NFC South a few years ago. Do you remember when the Panthers made the playoffs 5-11
Uh-huh.
and had a good first round play? I mean, I was ticked as a
Yeah.
Browns fan. I said, we've been struggling 4-12,
Right.
5-11, and they go to the playoffs. The one time they go 5-11, you know, and it just irritated me. But it is what it is, and I think you could see another 5-11, 6-10 team make the playoffs out of the
Yeah.
NFC East. But this division is just crazy. I didn't think it'd be this bad. I mean, I understand Washington Giants situation, but Eagles and Cowboys, no. But we'll find out who the better team is,
Yeah.
and I think Eagles are going to run away with it here. One last game, the Monday Nighter. We again this one it'll be fun if you're a Buccaneers fan. The 5-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the 1-6 New York Giants in New York. And by the way, I want to just throw this out here. You know who locked out big time? Was the Jets and the Giants on one thing. Odell Beckham was supposed to come home for back-to-back games,
Yeah.
and now it's not going to happen. I was looking forward to that. That was
Yeah.
going to be a fantasy blow-up if you had Odell.
Yeah, uh-huh.
Now it's not going to. Well, the games will happen. He's just not going to be
Yeah,
there, you
yeah.
know. I can just guess who you're going to have, but go ahead and tell the folks at home. Monday Nighter.
Kind of like Tampa Bay. Tom Brady's gonna have a field day. It's gonna be a blowout. Jones gets another breakaway touchdown run. Hope it doesn't trip over his feet again. Because
Right.
I mean, come on now. But yeah, it's gonna be blowout. 42-14.
You're nice. I'm going 45-9.
Okay, all right.
A reason being that Buccaneers defense is playing very well.
They are.
They've been hanging in there. Brady's been playing very well. He doesn't have Antonio Brown yet.
No.
That's going to happen the week after, and I'm looking forward to that because fantasy teams of mine that invested into him are now patting their back like, okay. And I wondered we talked about that last week, if that was going to happen. And that is official. Antonio
Yep.
Brown going to Tampa Bay. And just the Giants' offense is just terrible. The run game's non-existent.
Barkley's out. Of course, again, that kind of screwed.
Barkley's out. The running backs coach is not very good either. That's Freddie Kitchens, by the way, in case you didn't know. Daniel Jones is just not moving the ball very well. I think they're going to be done with him soon too. It's just,
I think the
it's
defense
just
gets a
nuts.
touchdown, a fumble, and I think Jones has one good, nice touchdown. That's probably it. That'll be it for the day.
Yeah, I just see this big beatdown
Yeah.
coming in. Tampa Bay's just playing really well, and Brady's the type of guy that keeps the tempo up. And Bruce Arians is a great coach for the record too. You saw him do stuff in Pittsburgh. He did a little bit in Cleveland too. He's wanted to be the Browns coach. Actually, supposedly he asked again a year ago, not the Stefanski, but the Kitchens hiring, and they told him we're not even interviewing you,
Right.
which I thought was kind of rude since he's a very successful coach and he wanted to turn the team around. But whatever, I'm not the Browns, and right now I do like Kevin Stefanski, so it works out for everybody. And then Bruce Arians, then he gets to a warmer climate with Tom Brady. Everybody kind of won in some way in that scenario. But we talked enough about the Browns. Talking about the Buccaneers here. Jones Jr. is playing well. Everybody's just playing very well right now.
Godwin's going to be out again. He
He
had
is.
surgery on his finger.
Which will open up for Antonio Brown in a week. But right now, Mike Evans and
Yeah.
whoever...
Miller, I think.
Miller,
Third, yeah.
yeah,
Brady likes him.
he's good.
Brady made a comment where he likes him. He likes how he's one of them slot catchers,
Right.
passers, he likes him.
There's always been, oddly enough, these random slot
Yep.
guys. Before Edelman, before he blew
Edelman,
up, that he said Hogan. There's another guy I missed that Brady has used in the past that it just clicked between him and whoever. Miller's not bad. No, he's a good receiver. He's gonna probably end up being problems for them and whatnot. This one it's gonna be good. If you're on line here in a fantasy matchup going into Monday night, and you have Brady, you're probably gonna end up winning that game. So.
I got the kicker to hit my kicker though, so hopefully I get 20 something. out of him.
He's a great kicker. Chris, we got to wrap it up.
All right.
I appreciate you being here. We know we have a lot of fun talking football stuff. Unfortunately, you will not be with us next week.
Right.
We have a special guest coming next week from the Canton Charge sale representative. Austin Stevens will be coming in. He's going to be talking about the Charge upcoming season, what they have in store as far as all this COVID stuff. We're going to be giving away tickets. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun stuff. It's going to be our first real day. We're talking a lot of basketball, so I'm looking forward to it. I know the offseason's just kicked off, but why not? Normally at this time of the year, we have the Cavaliers, and right now we don't. So we'll talk about all the kind of stuff we look forward to. He'll talk about the Cannon Charge and why you should come out to those games. It's actually a lot of fun. It gives you something to do, especially when we couldn't do anything for a while. So definitely looking forward to Austin being here. Thank you, Chris, for coming in.
Welcome.
And I'm Seth. This is 10 Cent Beer Night every Wednesday night, 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time here at PlymanCityRecords.com. Live on Facebook and YouTube now. And we will see you guys next week. As always, go Browns.
Go Bucks. Go Steelers.
Soon